Hey folks, welcome back. I want to talk a little bit about an article I came across recently. And although the information in the article and what the guy was saying was pretty accurate, I really don't disagree at all. In fact, I think he was right on the money on a lot of stuff. But I was a little concerned with the title of the article and the way it was worded. A couple of things that he said could easily have been taken out of context, misunderstood, and cause some very disastrous results. And what it's about is, but he was right. Once you read the whole article, if you really took the time to understand everything and put it in context, it made perfect sense. But out of context, if you don't really pay attention, there's one line in particular that could very easily have been taken the wrong way and in disastrous results. Now, he was talking about how a lot of people think that you have to win with the horse. And he said that's a myth. Now, that's not a myth, but in the context of what he's talking about, it is. Because, let me explain a little in a second here. And basically, this guy here is a perfect example of what I want to talk about. First off, I'm not going to make him do anything I can't follow through on now. Two things I say. Good horsemanship is understanding the horse. Good training is consistency and follow through. I can't follow through without a lead on, and I want to be consistent and always follow through. So we're putting a lead on him. We're going to make him listen. It's not an option. But winning with the horse. Now this is the point he was making, is that a lot of good horses get ruined because people have this mentality that they got to win. The horse doesn't do what they want, and they resort to getting into a fight with the horse. And that doesn't work. You can't win. The horse is much bigger, stronger, and faster than you ever will be. You cannot win a fight with a horse. Simple as that. So don't even bother trying. If you find at any time your ego or pride, anger, or desire to win, or whatever, is getting in the way, don't do it. Walk away. You've already crossed the line. Okay? You can't win a fight with a horse. And I'm not going to get into a fight. Now, one of the things he talked about in the article is not pushing the horse to the point where you end up in a fight with it. And I mentioned that similar thing with this guy just the other day. I was talking about, I have control over how hard I push him. And I don't want him to blow up, because I know that if he blows up, he will get dangerous. And I'm not going to push him that hard. And I have 100% control over how hard I push him. However, this guy is also a perfect example of the opposite end of the spectrum, is where people actually do let the horse get away with things. Now, I don't think it was ever done intentionally, but this guy did get away with saying no on quite a few occasions. And as a result, he thought he didn't have to listen to humans or take orders. Now, it doesn't take very much. Horses are brilliant animals. They learn in a heck of a hurry, and I can share a couple of stories on that one, but for brevity's sake, I'm not going to bother. But let's just to say, if the horse gets away with it once, it can learn from one time only. And I've had horses that, weeks or even years later, something they had learned once, they knew. Okay, so saving the stories, horses can learn. If they get away with it once, they have learned that they don't have to listen. And this guy was a perfect example. Like I said, I don't think it was intentional, but he inadvertently managed to get away with things a couple of times in his life. And that set a precedent, and he learned from that he did not have to listen. He did not have to take orders. And because that's what he had learned, he became disrespectful to the point of dangerous. So it's a case of safety. This horse learned that he didn't have to take orders. He learned he could say, get lost by rearing at me, kicking at me, or his owner. He's done it to both of us. And he has reared, he has kicked out, and he can and will do that because he's gotten away with it. He won. Like I said, I doubt very much it was intentional. I'm sure it was quite inadvertent that it happened. But it did happen, and it happened, and often enough to reinforce his behavior, because he did win, and he got away with it. The behavior continued, and it actually escalated and got worse because it wasn't corrected early on. So in the end, it became dangerous. So to believe that there's a myth that you don't have to win, that you can let the horse win. No, that's not a myth. That is a fact. And if you believe that kind of stuff, you're going to get hurt. However, if you get into a fight with your horse, which you shouldn't do in the first place, because you should never push your horse that hard that you end up in a fight with it. But if it gets to that point, there's no point in fighting with a horse, because the horse isn't going to learn a darn thing. It's already gone into survival mode if it's fighting with you. And if you try winning the fight at that point, there's going to be absolutely nothing productive is going to come out of it. First off, I doubt very much you're going to win, because like I said, the horse is bigger, faster, and stronger than you ever will be. You cannot win a fight with a horse. And at that point, if they're fighting with you, they've probably already gone into survival mode, and they aren't going to learn a darn thing anyhow, which was kind of one of the points that this guy made in the argument, or in his article, is he didn't believe that, there's anything wrong with letting the horse win. There's no point in getting into a fight with your horse, because at that point, the horse has stopped learning already anyhow. So, and that's true. It's quite accurate. The trick is never push your horse to that point, but at the same time, don't ever let it win. Because if you do let it win, and it wins even once, it will try again, and it does learn from that one experience. And if it happens a multitude of times, even inadvertently, you can end up with a horse like this one that actually becomes disrespectful to the point of being dangerous. And that's not what you want. So it's far more dangerous to let the horse win. It can happen. If you let the horse win, the horse can become dangerous. At the very least, you're going to have problems getting it to listen to you. However, if the horse gets to the point where you're actually quite literally fighting with it, walk away, because you're not going to win, and you're not going to teach the horse anything either. So there you go, folks. Follow through, consistency. Don't let the horse win. Don't believe that it's okay to let the horse win, because it sets a very bad precedent. And actually, I just had a conversation with somebody else in person here that, they said, yeah, it doesn't matter what kind of animal there is, or even your kids. Same thing. Always the same thing. Is if you let them get away with it once, they will try it again. If they get away with it a second time, you're pretty much screwed. Now, I'm not sure that his owner is ever going to be able to successfully ride him, because he's gotten away with things with them. They didn't do it intentionally, but the precedent is there. With me, it's been different. I actually haven't ridden this guy. I've been on him once, but I've never ridden him. I haven't really worked with him a lot up until just recently. But anytime I ever did, it was pretty consistent. And, I call the shots. He has to listen. I don't let him get away with things. And that established a connection between the two of us that, that's the way it's going to be, and I don't think I'm going to have a problem. I think I will be able to ride him. I don't think we're going to have a problem with that horse. However, other people might. And it's all about individuals. That's why you can't send your horse off to a trainer and have it come back and expect it to be perfect, because quite often that's not the problem. The problem is your relationship with your horse. It's not how it's trained. This guy's brilliant. He's a really smart horse. He's been well trained. He's just developed an attitude, that's all. There's nothing wrong with his training, per se. There's a few things that I would consider holes in his training, but that's a personal thing. I think the person that initially trained him did a reasonably good job on it. And he is a very smart horse. He knows what he's doing. He just doesn't want to. So don't let the horse win, and you'll be okay. And you won't get hurt, and the horse will be happier for it. But don't get into a fight with an animal, because you ain't going to win. Have a good day.